Right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Asanka. So I'll be your lecturer throughout this session. We're actually expecting few more participants to join because there's a huge number of confirmation for today's meeting. So therefore, let's stay another like 3 minutes today. Usually we start on the spot on the correct time, but only for today, let's wait for like 3 minutes since this is the first day for others to join, and around within a 3 minutes, we'll start the session. So thank you for joining the session, and please bear with us for another couple of minutes, please. Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone for waiting until we start the session, and welcome back. And those who joined lately, my name is Asanka, and I'll be your lecturer throughout the session. And on behalf of QBItz Private Limited, I welcome you all for our first day of our Advanced Analytics is Power BI session. Right? So before we start the session, I'll just give like few minutes to introduce myself a little bit, right? So my name is, as I mentioned, my name is Asanka Dilshan Senarath. So currently I'm living in Canada. So I'm doing my doctorate in Canada currently. And before I come to Canada, I have worked in multiple companies as the head of business intelligence, head of data quality, and head of data engineering. And also I worked as a industrial engineer as well as a quality manager as well in Sri Lanka. So as mentioned, I'm currently doing my doctorate, but before I do my doctorate, I have completed MSc in business analytics and from IIT. And my first degree is in business management, as well as I have completed a HND in finance. I have a finance special HND in business management as well. And before I moved to service and this data field, I worked in manufacturing for like 2 years. While during that time, I have completed a diploma in industrial engineering, as well as I have taken my Lean Six Sigma Black Belt while I was working in manufacturing. So in terms of Power BI and Power Platform, I am a Microsoft certified Power BI trainer, and I also am a Microsoft certified Power BI professional, also Fabric and Power Platform professional as well. I'm certified from Microsoft for those things. And altogether, I have more than 13 years of experience in manufacturing, service, and as well as in business intelligence domains. right? So if you want to contact me anytime, so you'll get this presentation of this session as well as the recording. You can contact me this number. You can WhatsApp me. You will not be able to call directly to me this number. You can WhatsApp call me through this number, as well as you can contact me through email. Or the easiest way for communication is, I think, as per today, is through LinkedIn. You can search my name as Asanka Sinarat, and you can see the same profile picture, and you can contact me through LinkedIn as well, right? So that's a little bit about me. So maybe on the next session, we'll be get to know about you guys as well, and looking forward for that one. And let's see what you are going to learn throughout this session. So before I start the session, I would like to make a little request from you. Perhaps you might decide that you will not to continue the session, but I highly recommend you guys actually to stay on today's session, because we'll be doing a 2-hour session today. So even though you join, or even though you decide not to join, I'll make sure that you will get something that you can bring home after this session. You will learn something after this session. So please stay with us for these 2 hours, and you will get to learn a lot of things about business intelligence, the history of business intelligence, and what are we going to do, and the importance of learning Power BI as a professional as of today, right? Okay, before we discuss about the content of the course, so I would like to take you to a helicopter view, or we can say a bird eye view, and let's discuss what are the things that you will get after completing this session, right? So this is not the content, like as I mentioned. So this is like the high level view. So then you can understand what you will get after completing of this session. The first thing is this session is a comprehensive training program. So comprehensive in the sense, this is not uh, you don't need to have any prior experience in Power BI, any prior experience in any BI tool or in data engineering itself, right? You don't need to know anything about BI, right? We will start you from the scratch, and you will be able to be a master at the end of this 10-day session, right? And throughout this training program, you will get to learn the entire Power BI ecosystem, right? So some people thinks when it comes to Power BI, some people think it's just one software, but it's actually not a one just software. You have to learn the ecosystem when it comes to Power BI. You have to learn about how to do a data modeling. You have to learn about how to do a data cleaning. You have to learn about how to use the DAX language. You have to learn about how to use the Power BI service. There's something called data gateways. Like there are some external tools that you need to learn, as well as there's something new came to Power BI called MCP server. How you can use that one. You will be get to learn all of these things throughout this session, because we'll be covering all the components in Power BI ecosystem, not just the visualization part. The entire Power BI ecosystem will be discussed in this session. And this session is going to be a hands-on experience session. This is not something that I'll do and you will listen and you just do something. That's not the way this is going to be. This is going to be hands-on experience and 100% practical session. And each and every day, every student will be monitored on their, the places they are lagging, places they are, excelling at. All the things will be monitored, and I'll be ensure that at the end of the session, all of you guys are be a master of Power BI, right? And one of the other thing is, once you enroll to this session, you will be get a free Power BI Pro account, which is worth around like $14 per month. If you purchase it externally, you have to pay $14 per month to have that Power BI Pro account. But for you guys, you will get a Power BI Pro account for free for 6 month period of time. Then you can use that Power BI Pro account to learn all the aspects of Power BI. Because the reason why we are giving a Power BI Pro account for free is you can actually enroll for a pre-account. So pre-account, you don't need to pay anything. But the thing is, if you enroll to a pre-account in Power BI, you will be you will not be able to learn all the aspect of Power BI. So we'll discuss later on what is this Power BI licenses. In Power BI, there are different types of licenses called pre-account, premium account, pro account. So we'll be getting a pro account that you will be able to use it for 6 months. This is not just Power BI Pro account. You'll be getting an Office 365 Pro account for 6 month period of time. You can use it for emailing. You can use it for OneDrive and all the things. You can use that account. So that's about the training program. And this training program is actually we have made the scope of this content of this training program based out of PL 300 exam. right? I think here there might be someone who know about this PL300. There might be most of you guys might not, did not know, don't know anything about PL300. So PL300 is a examination or a license, you can say. In the first presentation, like in the first slide, I told you that I am a Microsoft certified Power BI professional, right? So how I become a Microsoft certified Power BI professional is through completing this PL300 exam, which is offered by Microsoft, right? So you go after completing this course, you can enroll yourself to PL300 exam. You have to pay separately. Personally, you have to pay for that one. So it's around, I think, as for these days, it's around like $18,000, 18,000 rupees, Sri Lanka rupees, right? You can enroll for PL300 exam, and after you successfully completing the exam of PL300, you can also say, I'm a Microsoft certified Power BI professional, right? So reason why we do the content of PL300 is because we want all of you guys to be a Microsoft certified Power BI professional at the end of the session. So once you complete it, you can also be a Microsoft certified Power BI professional. So some of you might think why I need to be a Microsoft certified Power BI professional. There are a couple of reasons. Reason number one is when you come to the job market, you can get a competitive advantage over others if you are a Microsoft certified Power BI professional. So like if you have seen like most of the Power BI job that is being published in LinkedIn and other places, you might have seen having Microsoft Power BI professional certification is an added advantage. That means if you have that certification, you have that added advantage over others, right? And the other thing is, if you planning to be a freelancer in Power BI, right? So if you're planning to be a freelancer in Upwork or like other platforms, right? So having PL300 make your client confident that you are an expert in Power BI, then you can get more freelancing opportunities if you become a Power BI certified, Microsoft certified Power BI professional, right? So that's how we make the content of this course. And the third thing is, as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a two-way communication session. So this is not something that I will do and you will listen. That's not the way the session is going to be. So after you enroll to the session, all of you will be assigned to a Google Classroom, right? In the Google Classroom, every day your progress will be tracked, right? So where are the places where you excel at, where are the places that you need more attention is, right? So we have trained more than, personally, I have trained more than 800 uh, students as of now, right, in multiple organizations, not only in here and some universities and some freelancings, and also like that I have trained more than 800 students so far. From all the students, I have get 5 out of 5 scores. I mean, they have given 5 out of 5 review everywhere, right? If you want to see the reviews that my previous students has given to me, you can actually go to my LinkedIn profile, and you can see there are around like I think 150 recommendations my students has given about how they are pleased with the training program that we have done earlier. Right, this is the only few. Right, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you can see how many recommendations my previous students has given. Right, so that's about how satisfied our students are in our previous batches. So this is actually our 18th batch, 18th batch of Power BI, and in this institute, 18th batch, and we have done already. We have completed 17 batch in this organization. And the other thing is, once you completed the training program, you will be getting a digital badge, right? You'll be getting assignment at the end of the session. Once you successfully completed the assignment, you will be getting a digital badge, which is offered by Credly, right? So this Credly, this is actually a digital credentials provider. This Credly is a digital credential provider. So if you know that these days, like most of the like professionals in LinkedIn, like places like LinkedIn, so they posted their achievement as a digital badge, right? So earlier in previous courses, like when we were like doing when we were in our university time, like all the times we got a paper certification, right? But the thing with paper certification, it's good, but the thing with paper certification is like in this digital world right now, right? If you want to say someone like, okay, I'm confident on this field, it's very difficult to like validate the authenticity of these paper certifications, right? So that's why this digital certification become a huge thing in this like last 5 or 6 years. So there are multiple organizations that offer digital certifications. Like number one organization in the world is Credly. That's what we are associated with. And also there are some two other organizations like Badger, right? And there are some others as well. So Credly is an organization which is associated with Pearson. Like if you know about Pearson, Pearson is like who has gone to international schools might know Pearson. It's a education provider, right? Pearson, edXL, these are like education providers. They are organization under Pearson, and they provide this digital badge. The benefit of having a digital badge is anyone, let's say you are applying for a job and you are saying like I have this digital badge, then if the recruiter want to validate your skills, they can click on your badge and they can see what are the things you have learned, how much marks that you have got in your assignments, and all the things will be visible for them, and they don't need to like ask everything one by one. They know what are the things that you have learned, what are the things that you have done in your assignment, how much marks you get, and that become a competitive advantage over others. So this badge that you will be getting, you can actually put it on your LinkedIn. And if you have a portfolio in GitHub, or like if you have a personal portfolio, you can post it in your portfolio as well. So in the later of this session, we'll learn about how to create a portfolio, because as a Power BI professional, so you need to create a portfolio. That's how you're, if there's someone who is planning to recruit you, they will know that, okay, you have these skills, who have done this, completed these projects, then it's easy for them to validate your skills, right? So you can put this in your portfolios and it will help you to get a global recognition as well as a professional, I mean, for others, you can get a professional visibility and also help you in career growth as well. So this Credly platform is, used in multiple organizations in the world, like the organization like Microsoft, SAP, Google, IBM, right? Like project management professional, PMI, right? And also in Sri Lanka, there's only one organization in Sri Lanka that is using Credly apart from us, that is Slim, right? That's the only organization in Sri Lanka currently right now using Credly platform to provide digital access, right? So you get that advantage also, right? And also you'll be getting a certification as well. This certification is a participation certification. So there's a difference between the participation certification and digital badge. So participation certification you'll be getting after you go through all the 10 sessions. But the digital badge you will be getting after successfully completing the assignment only, right? So you will getting both of these things. The participation certification, you get it as a, if you want, you can actually print it and you can use it as a paper certification as well, right? So these are the things that you will be getting as an organization. These are the things that we'll be providing you for you as a student, and you can use those things for your career advancement, right? Okay. And also, like another thing is we'll be giving you, like as I mentioned, you'll be getting 2 assignments, and also we'll doing multiple projects throughout this session, right? And these are some of the projects that our previous students has done, right? And we have like plenty of other like projects as well. You can go to my LinkedIn and check all those things. And another thing, another advantage our students will get is like once you become a student, once you become alumni of our institute, you'll be eligible for getting pre-consultation for your projects, whether it's a personal project, whether it's academic project or professional project. You'll be getting pre-consultation for your projects as well. But you can always you can contact me, or like we have a group of experts, right? You can contact us, you can get the pre-consultation. So whenever you get stuck on some place, whenever you think like I have a project, I don't know where to start, you can get a consultation from us for free. So these are the advantages that you will be getting once you become a student, right? And right now, let's discuss what are the content that you want to learn from this session. Right? Before I go to content, I would like to take a pause for a moment. And if you have any questions about the offerings that the institute will be given to you, you can just feel free to ask anything. Right? You don't need to raise your hand. You don't need to type anything. You just unmute yourself and you can ask your question. Is there any question anyone like to ask?
So just one question, like when you start the real session next week, how long will it be? Is it only 2 hours or?
It's going to be
Yes.
2.5 hours. Like it's going to be depend, Chanukka, right? It's totally our session is going to be 25 hours, right, including today. So there are some days that we're going to do 2 hours and some days that's going to be 2.5 hours. Like for an example, when we are doing DAX, that is going to be hard. It's a bit difficult, not hard actually, bit, it will take some time for us to digest. So therefore we do it little slowly. So some sessions is going to be 2.5 hours and some session is going to be 2 hours. So altogether we're going to complete 25 hours.
Okay.
Any other question from anyone? Cool. So let's discuss the content, right? So I told you earlier, right? So most people thinks, like most beginners thinks, Power BI is just a simple software. You can just drag and drop data and create fancy visuals. No, it's not the case, right? Remember, Power BI is a whole ecosystem, right? So based on this ecosystem, we have broken our sessions into 5 categories. We have broken our sessions into 5 components actually. So today we'll be doing introduction, right? So introduction, what we're going to learn is throughout introduction, we learn about the Power BI concept and the objective of this course, the interface of Power BI, and also installation of Power BI, and the basics of Power BI will be learned on today's session on introduction. And next 3 sessions, it's going to be 3 sessions. Next 3 sessions is we're going to learn about a tool. I'm going to explain a little bit more. I'm just giving you the highlights now. On next 3 sessions, we're going to learn Power BI ETL engine. Right? Power BI has a ETL engine. What is ETL stand for? ETL stand for extract, transform, load. Right? Extract, transform, load. So just imagine yourself, your boss or your like manager ask you to create a dashboard. Just don't think about Power BI. Imagine like you were asked to create a PowerPoint presentation, right? Imagine you are working in a bank and you are working in head office and your manager asks you to create a presentation. So what you need to do now? You need to first you have to gather your data. So you are in head office, you have to gather data from branches. Let's say you have one branch in Colombo, one branch in Kalutara, one branch in Kandy, one branch in Jaffna. So you send an email to all of them and you gather all the data, right? So once you gather all the data, right, what happened? Most of the time, unfortunately, not only in Sri Lanka, people collect data in different ways. Colombo branch collect data in one way, Gold branch collect data in another way, Jaffna branch collect data in another way, right? The first thing that you do is you get all the data and you try to consolidate all this data, right? You are sometimes you are deleting unnecessary columns, deleting unnecessary rows, changing the, some there might be some abbreviations some companies use, some branches doesn't. You change all those things. Sometimes some branches use date format in a different way. Some branches use year, month, date. Some branches use month, date, year. Like, yeah, those differences happens, right? So first thing, the most difficult task that you do is you consolidate all this data and you make a one clean table. Then only you will be able to create this reports, right? Report or presentation. You will be able to create this report or presentation in that way, right? So if you think about this process, collecting data, cleaning those data, and using those clean data, this process is what is inside of this ETL is, right? So ETL stand for data extraction, that collection of data, like the same way that you collect data from like Gold branch, you collect data from Jaffna branch. You first collect data, extracting data. That's it stand for E part of this ETL tool. T part stand for transformation, or you can say cleaning, right? You will never be able to, I don't say never, but 99% of the time, you will never be able to use the data as is on analysis, right? You have to do some modification for your data. You have to clean your data, right? You have to do some changes for your data. Doing changes, doing cleaning, doing transformation process is the T part of this ETL part, right? And after that, once all the data is clean and transformed, you can load this data to your analysis engine, right? So this is what you're going to learn in this ETL engine. We're going to discuss a little bit more. So I'm just giving you highlights, right? And the next part of our course is Vertipack engine. For Vertipack engine also, we're going to give 2.5 days, right? In the Vertipack engine, we're going to learn about, so you got a clean data from ETL engine now, right? You got a clean data from ETL engine. Now you have to use that clean data to do a data analysis, right? To do a data analysis, we are using in Power BI a language called DAX. DAX stands for Data Analysis Expression. We are using this DAX language and we analyze our data. So that's what you're going to learn in Vertipack engine part. And after that, we're going to spend another 2.5 days in visualization layer. Right? Some people think, why are we spending only 2.5 days in visualization, but we are spending like 3 days in ETL? But remember, visualization is the most easiest part in Power BI. It's just a matter of dragging and dropping only. You just need to know the concept only. If you know how to pick the correct visual, it's just a matter of dragging and dropping only, right? So that's why we spend more time in the foundation part like ETL and Vertipack engine, and you spend only 2.5 days in visualization layer. In visualization layer, you will learn about how to create a visual, how to create a dashboard, how to put filters, hierarchies using custom visuals. All these things you will be learning in visualization layer, right? And the last part of Power BI is called deploy and maintain. Right? In here, you will be learning about how to use the Power BI service. Right? So once you create your dashboard, you cannot take your laptop and present your management, right? You have to host your dashboard in somewhere. The place you host your dashboard is called Power BI service, right? So you're gonna learn 2 days how to host your dashboard, how to like manage your dashboard, how to manage your asset in dashboard, how to make the security configuration, how to like do the schedule refreshers. All these things will be learned in these 2 days. So that's how we broken down our session, right? This is like the high level. So let's go one by one. So what are the things that you're gonna learn in detail, right? So the first part, you will learn the introduction. So today, so you're going to learn about the purpose and objective of this course, and you're going to learn what is business analytics, right? Before you learn Power BI, you need to learn about what is business analytics, right? So if you think about like 10 years ago, there's rarely someone works as a business analyst, right? But if you see now, almost all the companies is hiring business analysts. What's the reason? What's the reason behind it? Right? Let's discuss that, right? And you're going to learn about the Power BI concept, right? And also you're going to learn about Power BI building blocks. And you're going to learn about today, you're going to learn about how you install Power BI and how to use the user interface in Power BI. Right? So you're going to learn all those things today in introduction session. And the next 3 sessions, we're going to learn ETL engine, or you can say in Power BI, we say Power Query engine. Right? So what is ETL? I told you earlier also. So ETL tool is something that you use to extract your data, clean your data, and you load your data to your analytical engine. Right? So this is basically the place where you collect and clean your data. Right? So when you collect and clean your data, before you collect and clean your data, so what is meaning by cleaning a data? So simple term of cleaning a data is you are converting a bad data into a good data. So that's the simple like explanation about data clearing, data transformation. Right? In data transformation, what you do is you convert a bad data into a good data. So before you convert a bad data into a good data, you should be able to identify the difference between good data and bad data, right? So the first thing that you're going to learn in Power Query is how you identify a good data and bad data. We have some tools for that one. You're going to learn that how you identify a good data and a bad data, right? And the next, we're going to learn about the Power Query software, right? What is this Power Query tool? And we're going to learn about the overview about Power Query, like what are the data sources that you can connect and how you connect data sources. We're going to connect multiple sources. We're going to connect Excel source. We're going to connect SQL Server, and we're going to connect API as well. And we're going to learn how you can use Power Query Editor and how you're going to transform data in Power Query. For this one, we're going to use 32 practical cases. We're going to do 32 data cleaning cases to learn about how to clean your data using Power Query. And after that, we're going to learn how to load the data, as well as we're going to learn there's a hidden language behind this Power Query tool. Don't worry, like you might not understand it now, but we're going to break this into simple digestible pieces in the future, and you're going to learn all these things, right? So in Power Queries, this tool called Power Query is running on a language called data mashup language. In simple, we call it M language. You're going to learn the concept of a mashup language and how you can use mashup language to do something beyond what you can see in your graphical interface. Right? You're going to learn that as well in the Power Query part. right? So in Power Query, it's going to be 3-day session. So this is where we lay the foundation for Power BI, right? This is the foundation for Power BI, the ETL engine. If your foundation is strong, Power BI is very easy, right? So we're going to learn the ETL for 3 days. And after that, we go to Vertipack engine. What is Vertipack engine? So if you think, imagine you are asked to create a sales analytic dashboard. Just think about this scenario. You are asked to create a sales analytic dashboard. So create the sales analytic dashboard. How many data sources you need? Imagine your company is a sales company. You are a FMCG company, and you need to measure the performance of your sales team, right? You're gonna need sales data. Obviously, you're gonna need the sales data, and you're gonna need your customer feedbacks. Right? Most of the companies for customer feedback, they have different systems. Like they will have different systems for that one. And also you might need to validate your HR data. How experienced your salespersons are. Like if you want to analyze, like let's say, how is a 10-year experienced salesperson versus a 5-year experienced salesperson perform? Is there impact of the number of years you work with the performance? Right? If you want to analyze those kind of things. Maybe like if you want to analyze, like let's say there's a salesperson who stay 30 kilometers from the company, and there's another employee who is like 50 kilometers from the company. How is the performance of these two? Like that's what you call like insights, right? That's why how you create like strategic decisions, right? To do those things, you might need to connect to HR data as well. That means to create a sales dashboard, you need sales data, your customer data, as well as you might need your product data. And maybe if you have ERP system, you might need to get data from ERP system, and you might need your HR data as well. That means you might at least need 5 data points to create a one report, right? So when you are connecting multiple tables to Power BI, so when it comes to Excel, how you do it? When it comes to Excel, we have this bad habit in Excel. We create a one big table. We create one big table in Excel. When it comes to Excel, if you analyze your data in Excel, we have this bad habit. We create one big table. Sometimes this big table is like 200, 300 megabytes. Sometimes to open this Excel file, it takes like 5 minutes. To put a formula, and if you type enter, it is buffering for like 2-3 minutes because it's too much for Excel to handle that data, right? So when it comes to Power BI, we don't do like that. Instead, what we do is we load all these 5 tables and we create an interconnection between this table. Right? We connect our HR table to our salesperson. We connect our salesperson to our customer table. We connect our customer table to our product table. Right? We are creating a relationship between tables. Right? So that is what you're going to learn this in this Vertipack engine. That's called data modeling. Right? You're going to learn about how do you do a data modeling here. Right? And what is the advantage of having this model over like that big table? How much performance that will save? How much easy is it for you to analyze? Right? You're going to learn all these things. What are the different type of relationships between tables? There are relationships types called one-to-one relationship. There is relationship type called one-to-many relationship. There's a relationship type called many-to-many relationship. You're going to learn all these things. And we're going to learn about schemas as well. Don't worry about these words. I know you might not know anything right now, but we're going to break it down a little bit in the future. Right? We're going to learn about how you create a good schema using these connections. So there are different type of schemas that you use in Power BI. There's a schema called star schema. There's a schema called snowflake schema. And also there's a schema called galaxy schema. Right? We're going to learn about these schemas. But in Power BI, it's recommended to use star schema and snowflake schema. That's why I put 2 only here. So we're going to learn about those things. Right? So we're going to learn about this Vertipack engine. In the Vertipack engine, there's another part as well, which is data analysis engine. This is the place most people think, most beginners think, most professionals, even like most experienced Power BI professionals also think, most hardest part in Power BI. But I'm going to prove it to you. It's not the hardest part in Power BI. If you do your groundwork better, if you have cleaned your data properly in ETL engine, if you have created a good data model in Vertipack engine, that is the most easiest part, right? So I'm going to tell you a story, right? So I'm going to take you to divisional secretarial office. අපි කච්චේරිය කියලා කියන ලංකාවේ. මම කරනවා කච්චේරියට එක්ක යනවා. And I'm going to take you to a Pradesi Sabha, or like we can say kacheri, right? So you know this in divisional secretarial office we have this Pradesi Lekam, divisional secretary. Right? The Pradesi Lekam, we have this Pradesi Lekam. So the lady over here is a Pradesi Lekam, right? So there's a peon work in this Pradesi Sabha. His name is, let's say, Kamal. So Kamal is working for Pradesi Sabha. He is the peon of this Pradesi Lekam, the lady, right? So all the files of this Pradesi Sabha is locked in a storeroom like this. Everything is locked inside of a storeroom, right? Like this. So one day, the lady rang the bell. So Kamal went to the office and he asked, why, ma'am? Right? Then the lady said, Kamal, I want you to go to the storeroom. And inside of the storeroom, there's a red color cabinet. And there's a red color cabinet. Open that cabinet. Inside of this cabinet, there might be there are six drawers. Right? Open the number 5 drawer. Inside of this number 5 drawer, there are multiple files like this. There are multiple files like this. Pick the files which has census data. Sangana Varta. Right? Pick the file that has census data. Open the census data file and pick the papers which has census data of 2025 and 2024. Right? And I want you to read these two files, two tables, two papers, 2024 data and 2025 data, and tell me how much growth of male population between age 18 and age 25. So what he has to do, he has to go to the storeroom. He has to open that wardrobe or that cabinet, pick the file from the drawer, and he has to take these two papers first. Right? So Kamal go to the set place and open those things and pick the paper. Right? After he pick the paper, he take a calculator and he calculate how many males are there between age 18 and 25. Let's imagine like there are 1,000 males in 2024. There are 1,000 males in 2024. And in 2025, there are 1,080. 1,080 males are there. That means 80 people grown in the area between these 2 years. 80 people, there are more. Compared to 2024, there are 80 more people in 2025. Right? As a percentage, how much is it? 80 divided by 1,000, it's 8%. Right? So Kamal go to the lady and he says, ma'am, it's 8%. So keep this story in your mind. So in this story, Kamal is Dax language. Kamal is the Dax language. You are the lady or the Prajesi Lekam. And your storeroom is your data model. Right? That's your data model. So you are the person who are saying, I want you to go to this table. I want you to put those filters. I want you to do those calculations and bring back the result. And Dax will do it for you. It will go to the model. It will read the data. It will put those filters. It will do all the aggregations. It will do all the calculation and give you the result. So that's simply what happened in Dax. Right? So in Dax language, Dax is stand for, as I mentioned, Dax stand for data analysis expression. In Dax language, you can do multiple things. You can create new columns. You can create something called new measures. You can create new tables, right? And you're gonna do all those things, right? And you're gonna learn there are something called implicit measures and explicit measures, system generated codes and manual creation code, right? How you create a manual code and a system created code, right? And you're gonna learn the difference between a column and a measure. And when it comes to Dax, Dax can be divided into 6 main categories: text functions, logical functions, time and date functions, filter functions, mathematical and statistical functions, and also there's another one called time intelligence function, right? And also at the end of the session, I'm not going to do it until we complete the Dax part. At the end of the session, we're going to learn how to use an AI to write any complicated Dax code. I'm repeating the word any complicated Dax code. You will be able to write any complicated Dax code at the end of this Dax session with the help of AI. But before I'm going to take you to write the code with AI, I want to give the foundation for you. So what happened these days with most people is they directly go to the AI and they forget the foundation. If you know the foundation only, you can use AI. if you know the foundation and if you know the AI tool, you can do miracles in Power BI, right? So I'm going to take you there and you will be learned to how to write the DAX code, right? For writing DAX code, we're going to use the MCP service. The MCP stand for Model Context Protocol. So we're going to learn how to use this MCPs, right? It's like magic, right? Sometimes you'll be able to see it's like creating magic. You just type something and Power BI do it automatically for you, right? So you're going to learn how to use MCP as well at the end of this Vertipack engine session, right? And then we go to the most favorite part of Power BI. This is the part most students like a lot, visualization layer. We're gonna spend 2 days for visualization layer. Visualization layer, we're gonna learn about what is the report view and what is mean by visual interaction, how do you put a filter, how you put a hierarchy, drill down, visualizations, how to put the correct visual for your data, how to put the correct visual for your categorical data, how to put the correct category data, how to put the correct visual for your trend data, how to put the correct visual for your KPI data, tabular data, geographical data, how to use tooltips, how to use bookmark selection, how to use custom visuals, and most probably I haven't added over here. I will teach you how to create a custom visual as well. But I'm just working on it now. So most probably you will be able to create your own visual as well, right? So this is the part you're going to learn 2 days in visualization layer, right? Sorry, 2.5 days in visualization layer, right? On last 2 days, we're going to learn about how to use Power BI service. So this is the online part of Power BI. This is the online part of Power BI, right? So you're going to learn about what is Power BI service, how you add a data set, how you publish a data set, how to put a data gateway, how to put a refresh of data, about the how to navigate in these workspace components, what is the data flow, what is the data set action, how to analyze your data in Excel, which is already published with the service, how you use that data in Power BI service to analyze in Excel, how to create action in Power BI, how to create a reporting dashboard, and how you share your dashboard, how to collaborate your work with someone else, how to put the row level securities, how to put a deployment pipeline. All these things will be learning Power BI service. To learn Power BI service, you're going to need a pro license. So for that pro license, we'll provide it to you. Because I know there are some students who join from companies. Sorry, right? There are students who join from companies, and some students does not like to use their company laptops for the session. So that's why we are providing a pro license. So you don't need to use your company email address, and you can use our email address and learn all the things, right? So that's what you will be learning in Power BI service, right? So that's basically our content of this course. So I'll take a pause, right? Before we go to today's agenda, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, right? So if you have any question, I'm more than happy to answer. Any question from anyone? Chanaka, Sanjit, Namal, any question from anyone? If I'm too fast also, just let me know, guys. And
Sir,
yes, yes, Indu.
sir, during the session, maybe by end of the session, are we discussing any sample questions which is related to PL 300 examination?
In the session, we are not providing any PL 300 exam questions, but if you guys are interested, I can put it on the Google Classroom as well. If we have some questions, we have a question bank for PL 300 exam. We can put on the our Google Classroom on that one as well. Right. So this is primarily focused on teaching the tool actually, but we can do that one as well in the. Any other question from you?
Sir, Namal.
Yes, Namal.
සර් මේ දැන් අපි මේ අපිට පුළුවන්ද අපි ඇකඩමිකලි කරන රිසර්ච් වල data මේකෙන් ඇනලයිස් කරගන්න?
ඔව් පුළුවන්. ඇකඩමික් එක රිසර්ච් කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. හැබැයි එහෙමයි දැන් සමහර රිසර්ච් එක දැන් අපි අර සමහර ස්ටැටිස්ටිකලි අපි ඇනලයිස් කරන සමහර දේවල් තියෙනවනේ නාම. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් අපි දැන් අර රිග්‍රෙෂන් ඇනලිසිස් එකක් කරන එක වෙන්න පුළුවන් කයි ස්ක්වයර් ඇනලිසිස් එකක් කරන දැන් අපි දැන් හිතන්න බෑ මොකක් කර හයිපොතීසිස් එකක් හදලා හයිපොතීසිස් එක ප්‍රූව් කරන එක රිසර්ච් එක කරනවා කියලා හිතන්නකෝ. ඒ වගේ දෙයකට නම් මම ඉතින් ඇකඩමිකලි රෙකමන්ඩ් කරන්නේ මේක Power BI එකෙන් කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඇකඩමිකලි රෙකමන්ඩ් කරන්නේ දැන් යුනිවර්සිටි ස්ටුඩන්ට් කෙනෙක් තාම.
මම මාස්ටර්ස් කරන්නේ සර්.
ඔව් ඒ වගේ වැඩ කරනවා නම් ඉතින් මම සාමාන්‍ය රෙකමන්ඩ් කරන්නේ ඒකට යූස් කරන්න කියලා එක්ක ඔය පාවිච්චි කරන්න මිනිටැප් පාවිච්චි කරන්න. නැත්නම් SPSS පාවිච්චි කරන තමයි ඇකඩමිකලි වැඩ කරා මම රෙකමන්ඩ් කරන්නේ. මේකෙන් අර Power BI කියන්නේ ගොඩක් හැදලා තියෙන බිස්නස් කන්ටෙක්ස් එකට නාමල්. يعني ස්ටුඩන්ට් අපි ඇකඩමිකල් කන්සෙප්ට් එකට කන්ටෙක්ස් එක යූස් කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. හැබැයි අර ඔයා ඒක රිසර්ච් එක පබ්ලිෂ් කරන්න වගේ ප්ලෑන් කරනවා නම් මම රෙකමන්ඩ් කරන්නේ ඒක යූස් කරන්න. එක බැරි නෑ. කරන්න ඒක තමයි මම රෙකමන්ඩ් කරන්නේ නාමල්. එහෙම නැත්නම් Python වගේ tool එක පාවිච්චි කරන එක තමයි රෙකමන්ඩ් කරන්නේ.
සර් දැන්
මේක
අපි
ගොඩක්
මට සර් කියන්න දැන් Excel උයි මේකයි ගත්තාම අපි දැන් මම වර්ක් කරනවා ඒවත් එක්ක Excel එක කම්පෙයාර් කරාම මේක Excel වලට යූස් කරන්න පුළුවන්ද අපිට?
එහෙම. ඒක හොඳ ක්වෙස්චන් එකක් මේ Excel වලයි Power BI වලයි වෙනස. right? Excel කියලා කියන්නේ දැනට ලෝකේ තියෙන හොඳම tool වලින් එකක්. කොච්චර කවුරු කොහොම කිව්වත් Excel කියලා කියන්නේ දැනට ලෝකේ තියෙන හොඳම tool වල එකක්. අපේ day to day data store කරගන්න right? ඒතර data වලින් මොකක් හරි insight එකක් ගන්න Excel තාමත් ලෝකේ වැඩිපුරම පාවිච්චි කරන tool. right? ඒතර Excel වගේ tool එකක් තියාගෙන Microsoft ලා මේ Power BI වගේ tool එක release කරන්න හේතුව තමයි පළවෙනි හේතුව තමයි Excel වල තියෙන limitations. right? ඔයාලා දැන් Excel වල අපිට limitation එකක් තියෙනවා. Excel වල අපිට උපරිම දාන්න පුළුවන් 1 million rows විතරයි. හැබැයි 1 million rows කියලා කිව්වට අපි Excel එකට rows ලක්ෂයක් දැම්මට පස්සේ Excel ගොඩාක් stuck වෙනවා. right? Excel වල use අපිට වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රමාණය ගොඩක් අඩු වෙනවා. right? ඒක number 1. right? ඊළඟ දේ තමයි Excel වල අපිට තියෙන තව disadvantage එක තමයි Excel වල අපිට data connect කරන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට Excel වල data connect කරන්න තියෙන්නේ මට අන්තිමට මතක විදිහට Excel වල උපරිම තියෙන data sources 22ක් වගේ තමයි තියෙන Excel වල අපිට connect කරන්න data sources. right? මේ Power BI වල දැනට data sources 200කට වඩා connect කරන්න හැකියාව තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒක seamless integration එකකුත් Power BI වල අපිට හදන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ Excel වල අපි manually refresh කරන්න ඕනේ. data හැම සැරේකම open කර කර refresh කරන්න ඕනේ. Power BI වලින් අපිට automated refresh එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම අපිට real time අපිට streaming data set එකක් දාන්නත් පුළුවන් Power BI පාවිච්චි කරලා. ඒක දෙවෙනි හේතුව. තුන්වෙනි හේතුව තමයි අපිට sharing ability එක නාමල්. right? ඒ කියන්නේ අපි දැන් Excel එකක් අපි share කරන්නේ කොහොමද? අපිට Excel එකක් අපිට host කරලා තියන්න පුළුවන් මොකක් හරි අපිට OneDrive එකක එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට share drive එකක දාලා තියන්න පුළුවන් තමයි. හැබැයි අර accessibility එකකින් ගත්තොත් එහෙම අපිට sharing capability එක. ඒකකින් ගත්තොත් එහෙම අපිට Excel එකට වඩා sharing capability අපිට Power BI වලින් අපිට හම්බ වෙනවා. right? අපිට team එකකට නැත්නම් අපිට private group එකකට share කිරීමේ කියාව. ඒ වගේම මේක host කරන්නේ cloud එක. cloud එකෙන් ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට ඕනම තැනක ඕනම device එකකින් අපිට පුළුවන් අපි username එක password එක ගහලා අපිට Power BI එකට log වෙලා අපිට ඕන තැන ගිහලා dashboard එක බලන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාගේ laptop එකම තියෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ඕනම තැන ගිහලා ඔයාට ඒක බැලීමේ හැකියාව තියෙනවා. ඒක number 3. number 4 තමයි අපිට visualization capability එක. right? Excel වල අපිට visuals තිබ්බට Excel වලට වඩා ගොඩක් visualization capability එකක් අපිට Power BI වලදී හම්බෙනවා. තව ගොඩාක් හේතුන් තව තියෙන අපිට මේක අපිට අපිට machine learning algorithm එක connect කරන්න පුළුවන් Power BI ඇතුළතදී අපිට. එතකොට අපිට තව මේකේ අපි ගත්තම data security අතින් ගත්තොත් එහෙම Excel එකට වඩා data secure ගොඩක් අපිට data Power BI අතින් පාවිච්චි කරද්දී. ඒ වගේ අපිට හේතු ගොඩාක් නිසා තමයි දැනට දැන් අර Excel වල data analyze කරගෙන ගොඩාක් companies උත් අර Power BI පැත්තට මුව වෙලා තියෙනවා. right?
Thank
Right.
you sir. Okay.
right. Sorry about that guys.
අපි Python
ලසන්ජිත්
වගේ
වගේ
use කරනවද?
ලයිසන් වගේ voice එක ගොඩාක් අඩුයි ලසන්ජිත්.
Python වගේවත් use කරනවද අපි?
Python වගේ ඒවා use කරනවා කියලා අදහස් කරන්නේ මේක ඇතුළේද? Power BI ඇතුළේද?
ඔව්.
Power BI ඇතුළේ අපිට
මම
Python use කරන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රම කිහිපයකට. එකක් තමයි අපිට Power BI Python use කරලා අපිට custom visuals හදා ගන්න පුළුවන්. මේ ටයිම් එක තමයි Python use කරලා අපිට data අපේ ETL එකේ අපිට මේ rules දෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ data processing rules අපිට Python use කරලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම Python use කරලා අපිට පුළුවන් අපිට මොකක් කරේ machine learning algorithm එකක් ගන්නවා නම් ඒ part එක නම් අපිට ලස්සනට හැකියාව තියෙනවා Power BI ඇතුළේ.
මොකද ඇත්තටම මම වීඩියෝස් වල පොඩ්ඩක් දැකලා තියෙනවා Power BI වලට Python ඕනක වෙනවයි කියලා ඒකයි මම පොඩ්ඩක් ඇහුවේ.
ඔව්. අපිට use කරන්න පුළුවන් Python Power BI ඇතුළේ use කරන්න පුළුවන්.
ඒවත් මේකේ cover වෙනවද කොහොමද?
නෑ ඒක නම් cover කරන්නේ නැහැ ලසන්ජිත් අර ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් too advanced part එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි ගත්තේම professional level එකේ part එකක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒ part එක cover කරන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි මම ඔයාලට Python වල ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙනවා. මොකද ඒක Python උත් ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ කරන Python දන්න කෙනෙක්ට තමයි කරන්න පුළුවන්. Python වෙනම එහෙම වුණොත් අපි මම අපි session එකේදී අපි visualization part එකේදී Python language එක Power BI ඇතුළේ use කරන්න කොහොමද කියලා මම ඊට වැඩි 15ක් විතර කියලා දෙන්නම් ඔයාලට.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Right. Okay. Anyone else? Nice questions, guys. That's all. Okay. Right. එහෙනම් අපි අපේ session එක continue කරමු. Right. අපි දැන් යන්නේ තොර අපේ දවසේ agenda එකට. අද දවසේ අපි කතා කරා වගේ අපි අද දවසේ ඉගෙන ගන්නවා what is business intelligence, what is Power BI, what is Power BI ecosystem, Power Query, Power Pivot, Power Visual කියලා කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? If you have a time, let's try to do hands on, but let's give it a try. Okay. I'm not sure we have the time to do the hands on today, but let's give it a try. Right. So before we proceed anything over here, so let's learn how to install Power BI. Right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen over here, my presentation. Right, right. Let's learn how to install Power BI. Right. So Power BI, when you come to install Power BI, there are two ways that you can do to install Power BI. Right. Method number one. This is the most recommended method when it comes to installing Power BI. Right. You can go to your start button and you can search here Microsoft Store. Microsoft Store, you can search over here. Right, open Microsoft Store. So inside of this Microsoft Store, you can search Power BI. Right, you can search Power BI. So when you search Power BI, you can see we have this tool called Power BI Desktop. Right. So what you have to do is you have to go to inside of this Power BI Desktop, and right now I already installed this one. That's why I see open button over here. If you haven't installed this one, it will show a button called Get. Right. You can click on the Get button and it will download and install Power BI to your computer. Right. So this is the most recommended method of installing Power BI using the Power BI, installing the Power BI using Microsoft Store. The reason behind it is Power BI is a software that update more frequently. Right. So if you go to YouTube, right. If you go to YouTube, and if you search Power BI official, right, inside, if you search Power BI official, you will see that this is the Microsoft Power BI official YouTube channel. Right. If you go inside of this YouTube channel, you will see that Power BI is a software that update very often. Right. You can see there's update on November, there's update on September, there's update on August, and there's update on July, and there will be update on January as well. Right. You can see it's like updating almost every month, except for the last December. Power BI updates almost every month. Right. So the reason why I recommend you to install Power BI using Microsoft Store is, so if you install Power BI using Microsoft Store, if there's a new update comes to your, if there's a new update comes to Power BI, it will do the updation automatically. So if the laptop is connected to Wi-Fi, it will update Power BI automatically. So that's the benefit of having installing Power BI using Microsoft Store, right? But I know there are some students over here that that is coming using their company laptops, right? So some companies, they don't like to install, they don't give permission to Microsoft Store for employees. The reason is, it has these games, right? You can install games in Microsoft Store. Because of all these things, they are not allowing employees to install Power BI, right? Sorry, use Microsoft Store, right? So for them, those who does not have access to Microsoft Store, we have another way of installing Power BI as well, but it comes with the added disadvantage as well, right? So what you have to do is you have to open a new tab and you have to search Power BI downloads. And you have to search Power BI downloads. When you search Power BI downloads, you can click on the first link, right? In the first link, you can see we have here something called Microsoft Power BI Desktop. If you scroll down a little bit, you have something called Microsoft Power BI Desktop, right? So here, this is the software that we need to install, right? So when you install this one, we have two options, download and advanced download. If you click on download, it will open, again, it will open Microsoft Store. And if you click on download, that's what happens. But if you click on advanced download option, it will give you option to download the exe file of Power BI, installation file, right? So what you have to do is you have to click on the download and it will download the exe file, right? So this is the way. If your computer does not have access to Microsoft Store, download this one, but there's added disadvantages as I mentioned earlier. So if Power BI updates, you have to update it manually. Every month you might need to update this manually if you download like this, right? So keep that in mind as well, right? Okay, that's about installation. So let's go to the presentation now, right? So I recommend you when you come to the next week, guys, we're gonna do like spot on. We're gonna start working on, right? We are not going to spend a second on next week. We're gonna just work on Power BI at the moment we start the class. So install Power BI and let's start working, right? So I recommend you to install Power BI by next week. And those who are using company laptops, please contact your IT team before you come in next week, and please do the installation as well, right? Cool. Right, so let's go to the presentation now. So, okay, so before we learn about Power BI, let's discuss what is this thing called business analytics, right? So before we discuss about business analytics, we need to discuss about decision making. What is meaning by decision making, right? What is meaning by decision making? In if you Google it, the answer is called the process of making choices. Decision making is the process of making choices. But what is meaning by process of making choices, right? So in our personal life, we take multiple decisions, right? So in the morning, you might think, okay, I'm going to eat rice, or if I'm going to eat some noodles today morning. Or when you come to clothing, am I going to wear a blue color t-shirt or red color t-shirt? Without decision. And if you're going on a trip, you might think, okay, I'm going to go to Kataragama or Noreli. You take a lot of personal decisions in your life. Similarly, companies as well make those decisions. The companies also get problems and they need to make decisions, right? What are the problems companies get? If they want to open a new branch, is it really worth opening the new branch? Or if you want to improve a new product, if you want to give a promotion to an employee, if you want to give a like a discount to a set of customers, right? So we need to take decisions in your organization, a lot of decisions in the organizations, right? How we take those decisions? So I'm going to tell you a story. So my first job back in 2010, so I worked in Matale in a garment manufacturing company as a management trainee, right? I was there as a management trainee, and I was worked there for 1 year, and it's a beautiful company, good people. It's small company, right? So in this company, they manufacture t-shirts, polo t-shirts, they manufacture polo t-shirts, right? So when they get a new order, let's say they got a new order from USA, right, to manufacture 10,000 t-shirts, right? So they gather the management team and do a discussion, right? Luckily, since I was a management trainee, I got to go to those management meetings as well, right? So in this management meeting, there was a manager. He was the technical manager of this company. There was technical senior manager. This technical senior manager, he's the person who are leading this meeting, right? It's called production meeting, pre-production meeting, right? It's called pre-production meeting. So he's the person who managed this meeting. And he's like, at that time in 2010, he was around like 70 years old. Right? He was a very experienced apparel manager, right? So what he does is he gathers the team. There's the engineering manager, there's the quality manager, there's the production manager, there's like all these HR manager, all those people are there. And he take the t-shirt, the sample t-shirt of that order, right? If they, when in apparel companies, like if they get an order, you get a sample as well. You have to check the sample and you have to create your product based on the sample. Right? He take the sample t-shirt and he show the sample t-shirt to all of us. And he says, okay, we got this t-shirt and this t-shirt has a pocket. So we have to show this t-shirt in production number 1. Right? If you know, like in manufacturing, they have like multiple production modules, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, like production lines we call. So he take the decision. So production line number 1 has the expertise to make this t-shirt. Okay? He says that. And also he says this t-shirt fabric is very thin fabric. So therefore, we're going to need an experienced mechanic to set all the machines, to make all the machines, all the, this overlocks, all the sewing machine. We're going to need an experienced mechanic. So Kamal is going to be the mechanic for this production. line. And the quality is a little bit advanced of this production line. So the quality supervisor should be, let's say, 9. 9 is going to be the quality supervisor, right? So the production has to be monitored by this person. Production line, let's say if it has multiple operations, like in T-shirt, they have something called neck attached, pocket attached. Like for all the operations, all the people, he's the person who takes the decisions, right? He took all these decisions based on his 30 years of experience, 30 or 40 years of experience in the field, right? Surprisingly, I don't know whether you believe me or not, but 99% of the time, the decision that he has made is correct. It's not wrong, it's correct, right? But the thing is, as a company, can we just rely on one person? Imagine something happened to that person, he suddenly got sick and he cannot attend to work for like 2 years. So what the company should do? So the company should suffer until he comes? No. A company cannot decide on one person's experience, one person's knowledge, and company has to make decision not based on feelings, right? Because the way he take decisions is like he feel that this is the best production line to make this t-shirt. But a company cannot do like that. Company cannot operate like that. Company should have a better way of making a decision. So with that, we got the data analytics. In companies, we have a lot of data. We have historical data, we have current data, and we have forecasted data. Right? So companies, we have a lot of data based on the trends, based on the patterns, based on the outliers, based on the anomalies of data. We can make decisions. Right? So here I have a little picture of Facebook. This is actually Facebook in 2020. Right? In Facebook, you can see in 1 minute how many data is being generated. New 500 account being created, Facebook content creators are $11,700, new 100,000 friend requests, 150,000 messages, 3.1 million likes, like so many things happening in Facebook in a minute. Okay? So when you think about other tools, not only Facebook, we have Netflix, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have LinkedIn, we have TikTok, we have Spotify, Amazon. Right? So in 1 minute, so much data is generated in this world. So this is only surface internet. So think about your company. You have ERP systems. You have Google Drives. That you have your Excels. So a company has some data that is not exposed to the world. It has a lot of data as well. How many data? How much of data this world has right now? Right? So to take this perspective, this world has this much of data. Right? So in 2010, so this was analysis done by Gartner, right? In 2010, if you take all the data into in the world into one place, all the data in the sense your DVDs, floppy disk, hard disk, these servers, right? If you take all the data into one place and if you measure the capacity at that time, it was around 2 zettabyte in 2010. And you can see when it comes to 2025, more than 90 times growth. Now it is around 181. This is the prediction only. It could be more than that. 181 zettabyte of data we currently have in this world around, right? This is more than that, right? This is just a prediction, assumption, right? You can see how the data growth. The data was growth in an exponential rate, right? Like when it comes to graphs, we can show there are two kinds of growth. One growth is called linear growth, something like this. So linear growth is something like this. Exponential growth is something like this, right? So data was grown in exponential growth, right? So there are so much data in this world. So what we have to do with this data? So we have to analyze this data and use this data. So what is the reason behind this exponential data growth? So there should be a reason behind this exponential data growth, right? So the reason behind this exponential data growth is, I can explain in these two pictures. The reason for the exponential data growth can be explained with you using these two pictures, right? So on the left side, you can see I have a 5 megabyte hard drive, right? I have a 5 megabyte hard drive. and it is being shipped to I think this is a train or something. It is being shipped to a train in 1956. On the right side, I have an image of a micro SD card in the top of a finger. If you see these two pictures, you can identify few things. Number one, the storage capacity. Throughout the time, the storage capacity has been dramatically grown. Storage capacity of devices has been grown dramatically. Number two, the physical size. The physical size of the device has been reduced a lot. The size of the device has been reduced a lot. Number two. Right? Number three, the cost of the device. Right? I think in 1956, 5 megabyte hard drive is worth millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. But if you think about the SD card now, 1 terabyte SD card, less than 1,000 rupees. Yeah. Right? Very affordable and very cheap. Right? And number five is the technology of production. Technology of production has been grown. I know it's improved as well as it's become very easy. Right? In the earlier time, if someone want to create a device like this, so it's a effort of a teamwork. It required electronic engineers, it required computer engineers, right? It's a work of a team. But right now, this creation of these devices is just a matter of printing. Actually, you just put all the materials to a device, right? And it just print all these chips and all. Right? So that's how easy is it now to create these devices. So within these two pictures, you can see the reason behind of this data growth. Right now, it has grown more than this. Right? So that's the basic reasons for this data growth, right? And also, we are saying in this world right now, it's called data is the new oil. We are saying in this world, data is the new oil, right? Because in last 10 minutes, we have generated more data than prehistoric time up until 2003, right? You know, in the prehistoric time, we draw these cave arts and we had this Puskolopot, we have these books earlier, and we have these computers like Pentium 1, Pentium 2 computers. Like I remember like in 2002, I used to play YCD, right? In a Pentium 2 computer, right? So if you think about all the data in this, all the devices like floppy disk, all these things, and if we put all the things into one place, we have more data than that, right? So this is how big of a deal the data is. Like if you think about the companies, what are the top companies in this world right now? Right? Amazon, data company. Someone can say it's a distribution, but it's actually a data company. You think about that a little bit. Facebook, data company. Alphabet, data company, right? All are based on data. And NVIDIA, what's the reason behind of the growth of NVIDIA? The real reason is behind the data, right? We need a strong processors. We need strong GPUs to process the data, run those algorithms. So the real reason behind is also in data, the growth of NVIDIA, right? So whoever controls the data in this world controls the world right now. Right? That's how important the data is. That's why this job role called data analyst become suddenly so much popular. Right. So now, okay, before I go now, I would like to take a pause. Do you guys have any questions? Anyone? If anyone has a question, I'm more than happy to answer. Right. So if you see the chat, you can see there's a so in the chat you can see that there's a message being published. Right. So there's a Google form here, guys. You can actually, if you are planning to continue the session, you can go to the Google form and you can put your name, your contact number, and your WhatsApp number. If it is the same, just put same, your contact number and WhatsApp number, and your email address. For this email address, I recommend you to put your Gmail address because we're going to create a Google Classroom. For the Google Classroom, we're going to need your Google email address, not the company, right? Put your Google Gmail address, company or university. This is optional. You can, if you don't like, you can just leave it blank. And for this one also, we have a little, something that help us for our analytics, right? So you can just put this thing and you can submit, right? So I recommend you, right, if you're planning to continue the session, and to please come here and fill all your details. Okay, cool. So let's go to the presentation. So now we are going to discuss about what is BI. Right, we talked about data earlier. Now we're going to talk about BI. So BI, what is BI actually? BI in simple term, BI is the process of analyzing current and historical data that will reveal the insight that will help you to make strategic decisions. That's the basic definition for BI, right? So in BI, what you do is, right, as I mentioned earlier, in your companies, you will have your data in multiple places, right? You have data in Excel, right? You have data in maybe a database like SQL. Right, you have data in a ERP tool like SAP, right? Maybe from other place, right? So the first thing that you need to do when it comes to business intelligence is you have to collect all this data, the ETL engine. You have to collect all this data from different sources, right? You have to collect all the data and you transform the data. That means clean, you have to clean the data. This is the first step of business intelligence. Once you clean the data, you take this data into our Vertipack engine, you can say for the data modeling layer. In there, Kamal comes to help us. Who is Kamal? The DAX language comes to help us. In this, I'm giving this example with Power BI. So you do the data analysis using the DAX language, right? So in Power BI, we're using the DAX language, right? After that, we do the visualization of the data. We analyze the data. We have visualized the analyzed data through visuals, because there's a saying that one picture worth 1,000 words, right? So we can visualize the data which we analyzed already. And based on those visualized data, a company can take decisions. So that's the simple explanation of BI, business intelligence. So BI is the act of transforming raw and operational data into useful information for business decision making is known as business intelligence. Right? That's the simple term. So why a company need a BI tool? Right? So multiple things. If you have a question, you can quickly give answer. Right? If you have a question, who is my best customer? 1 second you can give the answer. Right? And also it will help you to do the real-time analysis. What is meaning by real-time? So earlier, when it comes to reporting, the top management has to wait to see the result. Sometimes hours, sometimes days, sometimes weeks, sometimes month. They have to stay to get an answer. But if you have a good BI tool, you can real-time analyze your data. So when something happening, the next second you can see it on the BI tool, what is happening. And you'll be able to do that. And if you are a sales company, you will be able to identify cross-selling and upselling opportunities. What is meaning by cross-selling and upselling? So cross-selling, the best example is Pizza Hut. So if you go to Pizza Hut to buy a pizza, the cashier tells you, would you like to purchase a garlic bread with that? Would you like to purchase a lava cake with that? What are they saying? They are trying to sell a product along with the product that you are going to buy. If you are going to buy a pizza, and they are trying to sell a garlic bread and a lava cake as well. So if you have a good BI tool, you can identify those cross-selling opportunities. Right? I'm not sure if you guys have heard about the case of Walmart in 1980s. Right? So Walmart is a North American company. It's like a supermarket, like they have in Canada and USA. I think in Australia also they have. I'm not sure. Right? They have this company called Walmart. In Walmart, they wanted to do analysis in 80s to identify what are the products that sell along with baby diapers. They want to identify the products that sell along with baby diapers in 1980s. So they did the analysis and the result shocked them. The result was the product that sell along with baby diapers was beer. It was beer actually. So they further analyzed what's the reason. So they have realized that most of the sales for baby diapers happens in Saturdays and Sundays. And the most of the time, the person who are buying the baby diapers in Saturdays and Sundays are fathers, right? And you might maybe you might have heard that you might have seen in movies as well. So in this North American countries, they have this culture that in weekends, they do a barbecue when they outside and they make some burgers and they burn, they make steaks and they have a beer, right? So that's how they enjoy the weekends, right? So what they have done is so. What they have done is the place where they sell baby diapers. So next to that aisle, they have placed the aisle of beer, right? So the sales of beer has dramatically increased in Walmart. So you can identify those cross-selling opportunities, right? If you have a good BI tool, right? And also you can identify the upselling opportunities. Upselling means you are selling something with the value, right? So you are going to buy a kottu, right? In your night curry, right? You are going to buy a kottu. And the Kottu Mudaraj tells you, the person who was selling Kottu, he tells you that let's not buy a roast chicken Kottu today, let's buy a cheese chicken Kottu. What's he saying? What he's trying to do? He's trying to sell the product with the added value. It's called upselling, right? You went to buy a regular Kottu and he's trying to sell you a cheese Kottu, right? That's called upselling, right? So you can identify those upselling opportunities. And also you'll be able to identify bottlenecks. What is meant by bottleneck? Bottleneck means, so it's like this, right? Imagine I have two bottles. So this is a bottle. This is the mouth of the bottle. And there's another bottle like this. So I'm so bad with paintings. So drawings, I'm sorry about that. You put 1 liter in both and you open the lid and turn it upside down. So water goes down. So what is the bottle that is going to get emptied first? Obviously this one, right? What's the reason? The bottleneck. This is called the bottleneck. Bottleneck is bigger in first one. Second one, the bottleneck is smaller. So it controls the water flow. The bottleneck is what controls the water flow of this bottle. Similarly, in production, in services, there are some processes that control our flow. It will decide how many customers do we serve today, how many units are we going to produce today, right? So there are some processes in our businesses that define the bottleneck, define the flow of our production, right? So you can identify those bottleneck if you have a good BI tool, and you can improve the efficiency and the effectiveness of your company, right? And also it will help you to know your business better. You know who are your customers, who are your employees, how they are performing, all the things you will know if you have a good BI tool, and it will lead you to a good business decision makings. So these are the business, if you have a BI tool, these are the benefits that you can get as a company, right? Let's learn this one as well quickly. So this is where we have a little bit of a theory part, but mostly we are doing the practical. So only today we do a lot of theory. So when it comes to analytics, there are levels of analytics as well, right? There are 4 levels of analytics, right? So this is actually a Cartesian plane at a graph. This is the y, this is the x, right? So if you go along y, the value of the analysis increases. If you go along the x, the difficulty increases. Right? So the first level of analytics, its value is very low and difficulty also not that much hard. Right? You can see like this. Right? The first level of analytics is known as descriptive analytics. Unfortunately, 99% of the companies do only descriptive analytics. Right? I'm going to take you this with the example. So I'm going to take you to Kottawa Keels. Right? You know, Kottawa Keels operate from 8 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. in the night. Right? So 10 p.m. in the night, once they shut the door of the Kottawa Keels, right? What they can do? They can run their systems and they can see how many customers came today, how much sales we have done today, how much inventory left in our stocks. Right? They can do all these analysis if they have a if they have a system, they can do this analysis through their systems, right? So basically what they do is at the end of the day, they see what happened today, right? These kind of analytics are known as descriptive analytics, right? After something happens, if you analyze what happened, it's called descriptive analytics, right? So the next level of analytics is known as diagnostic analytics. This is also called postmortem analytics as well. Something went wrong, right? So one day, the Kottawa Keels, let's say the Kottawa Keels, they have a sales target of 10 million per day, but they have sold only 8 million. So there's a gap of 2 million sales per day for that particular day, right? There's a gap of 2 million sales. So something went wrong. So they do analysis and they want to identify what happened, what went wrong that day, right? They want to identify what went wrong that day, right? So they do the analysis and identify that the reason behind this 2 million gap is on that particular day, usually they should get 1,000 kilograms of vegetables, but that particular day they got only 200 kilograms of 200 kilograms of vegetables only. So there's $800 kilo vegetable gap is there. So that could be the reason behind the gap, right? So something like that. So once something happened and they do further investigation, they do have tools for that one. So if you learn Lean Six Sigma, you can learn all these tools, like statistical tools are there. There are some general tools also for doing the diagnostic analytics. You can do those analysis. Something went wrong and identify the reason behind the wrong, what happened wrong, is called diagnostic analytics. And the next level of analytics is known as predictive analytics, right? Predictive analytics, right? Predictive analytics means they identify something, they identify what is going to be the outcome before something happens, right? So let's take the same example, right? So, I told you like Kottawa Kills open at 8:30 in the morning, right? So when it come to like 7:30 in the morning, we got vegetables from Dabulla, we got fish from Paliagoda. Every lorries come to you. If you have seen in the morning, most of the lorries come to the Kills, right? Right. So what they do is they stock all the inventories from these lorries, right? So imagine it's only 8 a.m. in the morning now, not even open the Kills, right? So lorry from Dabulla came, vegetable lorry, and they have bring only 200 kilos of vegetables on that day, right? So when you enter those vegetables to the system create you alert. System trigger something. System show you something. What is it's going to show you? It's going to show you today you are going to have 2 million drop because you don't have enough vegetables. It's predicting. Still the case is not even open. It's predicting. Right? That's called predictive analysis. What will happen? Right? So the fourth level of analytics is known as prescriptive analytics. Who gives us a prescription? Who's the person who gives us a prescription? Doctor, right? So prescriptive analytics is an analytics tool that will give you a prescription. How you can make it better? How you can avoid it? That's called prescriptive analytics, right? So imagine the same case. So 8 a.m. in the morning, system triggers an alert. It shows you that today you're going to have a drop of 2 million sales, right? So what you need to do is, because imagine like this is on Keels now. Let's say all the Keels branches are interconnected through the system. So this is on Kottawa Keels. And system give you a message. There are excess vegetables in Homagama and Maharagama. And you have to send a lorry to Homagama Keels and Maharagama Keels, and you have to get those excess vegetables from those branches. Then you will not lose your 2 million sales, right? Something like that. It will give you an option as well. What you need to do to overcome a problem. What you need to do to achieve some result. Right? It's called prescriptive analytics. So you can see, so when it comes to up, the value of the analytics increases a lot, as well as the difficulty also increases, right? So one more thing to keep in mind, right? So these 3 levels of analysis, the first 3 levels you can do with Power BI. This can be do with Power BI. You can use in Power BI. You can do this. But to do the next part, you're going to need the support of machine learning with Power BI. Right? You're going to do it alone with Power BI. You're going to need to have the support of machine learning to do the last part. Right? So this is called analytical maturity. More you take your analytics to the next level, more value it will bring to the business. Right? Okay. With that, we're going to go to Power BI. So that's the time we're going to come to Power BI, right? So I'm sorry, it takes 1.5 hours to come to Power BI. Right now, we're going to discuss about Power BI. What is Power BI? Right? So Power BI is a BI tool, right? Power BI is a business analytics tool provided by Microsoft that will help you to do analytics without the knowledge of coding or computer programming, right? So before 2010, companies had BI tools, companies had dashboards. But the thing is, to create all those dashboards, they wanted to hire a software engineer to do it, right? So imagine like there's HR manager. So HR manager want to create a training dashboard about trainings. To do this dashboard, he does not have programming knowledge. At that time, if you want to create a dashboard, you need to create it using like .NET, right? Or Visual Basic, right? You're going to need to have a programming knowledge to create a dashboard at that time, before 2010, I'm saying, right? So he hire a HR manager hire, or like, let's say, contracted the software engineer, and he keep on developing that training dashboard for HR manager. So there's a knowledge gap between HR manager and software engineer. HR manager know HR, software engineer know software engineering. Right? So there's always this conflict, right? HR manager might not know how to explain what he want. Software engineer might not understand what HR manager is trying to say, because software engineer does not know HR, right? So he should ask from him and do it, right? So that's one thing. There's always a gap between the finalization when it comes to like earlier time when creating the dashboard, and also the cost of creating a dashboard also very high, as well as the time for creating a dashboard also very high at that time. At that time, it was really high to create a dashboard. So Microsoft saw this as opportunity, and they implement a set of tools that a non-programmer, a business user, can use without putting any code, right? So they implemented multiple tools, right? They implemented Power BI, they implemented Power Apps at that time. Right? They like this Power Automate, it's called Flow that time, right? They implemented a lot of tools, right? So the reason for publishing those tools is like, let's say the HR manager want to create a training dashboard. He does not need the support of software engineer. He can do it himself, right? So he know about HR, he will be able to do it from himself, right? Because if you have experience in Microsoft systems, like if you have experience in PowerPoint, if you have experience in Excel, if you have experience in Microsoft ecosystem, easily you will be able to grasp Power BI. So that was the reason they implemented Power BI, and until now, the Power BI is the king of BI world, right? So using Power BI, you can analyze your data, you can convert your data into an interactive visual, stunning visual, and you can share it with any client or any colleague easily, right? And you can analyze your data and publish your data and store your data in a cloud like Power BI service. Also, there's option to store your Power BI dashboard in on-premises as well. On-premises means inside of your server, you can host your dashboard, right? And collaboratively, you can work on the dashboard, you can discuss the dashboard, you can share the dashboard, you can comment the dashboard, you can pin the dashboards, right? You can collaboratively work in Power BI, right? And also, there's a high data governance, data security for Power BI. So there's a Microsoft security, Microsoft Azure security for your data and the governance of your data, security and the governance of the data. Okay? So these are the reasons Power BI become hugely popular. So this is the Gartner's Magic Quadrant Analytics, right? So they basically, what they do is they divide all the BI tools into 4 categories: niche players, visionaries, challengers, and leaders. Niche players means that the people who does not have a good vision as a company and very difficult to operate is called niche players, right? Visionaries means there are good tools, but very difficult to learn, very difficult to afford, very difficult to purchase, is called visionaries. Tools like SAP. SAP have a good tool, but very expensive, very hard to learn. It's called visionary tools. And there are tools called challengers. Challenger tools are very easy to learn, like Google Looker, very easy to learn, but they don't have good analytical capabilities. And that's called challenges. And the best tools are called leaders. As a company, they are great and very easy to learn as well. Right? As of now, you can see what is on the top is Microsoft. Microsoft means the Power BI tool. Right? My Power BI is the market leader of BI tools in the market right now. Okay. After that, we are going to go to the most important slide of our today's deck, the Power BI ecosystem. So before I come here, I would like to take another pause. And if you have any question, I'm more than happy to answer. Does anyone has any questions about the things that we have done? And like, if you have any concern, like if I'm too fast or do I need to slow down a little bit? Anyone? Okay. So with that, we get to the most important slide of our deck. So guys, this is the most important slide for today's presentation, right? So if you don't understand this, just let me know. I can explain this again, right? So when it comes to Power BI, I told you multiple times, Power BI is not just one software. It's a combination of multiple platforms, right? So in this Power BI ecosystem, this is you. This person is you, the report designer. This is you, okay? This is your laptop, right? You go to Microsoft Store and install this software called Power BI Desktop, right? So can you see this gray color box? This gray color box, whatever happened inside of this gray color box is happen inside of your computer, inside of this tool called Microsoft Power BI Desktop, right? So Microsoft Power BI Desktop can be divided into three parts, three components: queries, data, and reports. And this can be divided into three components: queries, data, and reports, right? The first part, the queries. This is the ETL engine, right? What you do here, you extract the data from multiple sources. It could be coming from a cloud in app. It could be coming from a data warehouse in a cloud. Or it could be coming from a server or from a local computer, right? You collect those data. You collect all these data into one place, right? This is called extraction. After you extract the data, you have to transform your data. I told you, right? You cannot use your data as is most of the time. You have to transform your data to use it, right? It's called data transformation. And after that, once you transform your data, you have to load that clean data. You have to load that clean data inside of this ETL tool to this place called the Vertipack engine. Right? So in this Vertipack engine, you do two things. The first thing is you do a data model. So you have multiple tables, right? Like this. Let's say there are multiple tables. There are 5 tables, right? You connect these tables, right? You connect this to this, like this, and there's other connection type called like this, disconnected connection. You connect this like this. This is why I put a dotted line. And you have a two-way connection over here. This is connected to here. This is connected to here. This is only one-way connection. We're going to learn all these things, okay? And this is connected to this. You create a data model. Multiple tables you connected like this, right? After you connect, what you have to do next, you have to use this, you have to get the support of COML text language. Right? You analyze this data using the DAX language. Right? You analyze this data using the DAX language. Right? After you analyze your data, you come to the most interesting part in Power BI, which is visualization. Visualization, what you do is simply you create your dashboard, you create your reports, you create your pie charts, bar charts, line chart, tables. You do reporting in here, right? So still, this is inside of your computer. Remember, this is inside of your computer. So you have created your report now. You have done it now. Perfect. You have completed your report now. So what's the next step? Can you take your laptop and show it to your total management? Can you take it to your director and show it to him? No, you cannot do it, right? Every morning you cannot take your laptop and run to his office. This is the today's dashboard. This is today's sales performance. You can do it like that, right? You have to move your report inside of your computer to a cloud. So you are moving the dashboard inside of your computer into this cloud called Power BI service. Right? you are moving to this cloud called Power BI service, right? So Power BI service, you are publishing Power BI service in, you publish from your computer to Power BI service. So Power BI service is your cloud interface where you host your dashboard. So Power BI service, inside of Power BI service, you have something called workspace, right? You have something called workspaces. Workspaces is like a folder. Imagine for now, imagine it's like a folder that you put your dashboards, right? It's like a folder that you put your dashboards, right? For these folders, you can give access to people, right? So there are some people called viewers. So viewers means they will able to see the dashboards only. And there are some other people called admins and members. Admin and members have more privileges than viewers. They can view the dashboard as well as they can do the data refreshes, they can do the data modification, they can add people to the workspace. So they have admins and members as well. And also, these admin and members can use the data inside of a published dashboard to create a new report or new Excel. That also they have access, right? So in this workspace, you can put dashboards, you can put reports, you can put workbooks, and as well as data set. So what's the difference between a dashboard and a report? Anyone know? Difference between a dashboard and a report? So dashboard is a single piece report, or like it's a single phase interface that you can see only the most critical visuals of your computer, or the important visuals of your workspace. That's called dashboard. And we're going to discuss this one. So this is like your car dashboard, right? So in your car, if you see your car, in the car, you can see in the gauge clusters, you have the RPM meter, you have the odometer, like, you have most important readings in the car dashboard, right? But if you take the same car to a service center and if you scan your car, you can get like hundreds of records of your car. You can get the airbag quality, spark plug quality, all these things will be shown when it come to the report, right? Scan report. Just give me a second. Right, sorry about that. Right. So that's the difference between dashboard and report. Just like a car dashboard and car scan report. So in Power BI, dashboard means like you pin only the most important visuals and you create a one page. It's called a dashboard. So report is you can have multiple pages in reports. Okay. And also you can analyze the data in Excel, I told you. So that's called the Excel workbooks. You can put that on the workspace. And also you can host your data set in this place called workspace, right? And also Power BI, we have something called apps. This is not Power Apps, it's called Power BI apps, right? You can combine multiple reports into one place and you can create app, right? So inside of these apps, you have multiple other capabilities as well. You can create alerts, you can create data subscription, report subscriptions. All these things we'll be discussing later on, right? So everything seems good, right? So life is good. And until this report is a recurring, if your report has recurring data, there's a problem. What's the problem? So imagine this is a sales dashboard and this report has to be refreshed every day in 8 a.m. in the morning, right? Every day 8 a.m. in the morning, this report has to be refreshed. So right now, what is the process? Imagine this is come from a data lake, right? So this come from the data lake. Data comes from the data lake. Go to your computer. Go to your Power Query. From Power Query, go to data model. From data model, go to the report. And report go to the cloud. In the cloud, you put it to the published report, right? So every day in the morning, 8 a.m. in the morning, you have to do this. If you keep it like this, you have to manually refresh the data and publish it. You have every day, 8 a.m. in the morning, you have to do this. But it's not worth, right? So you have to automate this data refresh. You have to, at the one point, once you publish your dashboard from your computer to the cloud, you have to remove this part. You don't need your computer anymore. So you create a seamless connection between, you have to create a seamless connection between your report publish report, right? Publish report and your data source. You have to create a connection between these two once you publish. To do this one, we are using this tool called on-premises data gateway. We are using this one, right? So we're going to need this tool as well. This is what help you to integrate or connect the data sources, right? So we're going to use this one as well, right? So that's basically how the ecosystems works in Power BI, right? So I would like to take a pause now, and if you have any question about this, I'll keep on sharing, right? If you have any question about the Power BI ecosystem, I'm more than happy to answer. Anyone has any question? Sanjit, Chanaka, about how the ecosystem works. We're going to learn all these things, and at the end of the session, you will be able to be a master of all these tools, okay?
So will you be sharing the slides? So
Yeah. You will be getting the recordings, and also we'll be sharing slides as well. Okay. Right. With that, yeah. So this is like the summary of that one. Same thing. With that, I think we will not have enough time to do the hands-on today. We have like only a few minutes left, right? But we'll be doing the hands-on like that directly from the starting of the session, right? So since we have like few minutes, I'll quickly show you how the Power BI tools looks like, right? So Power BI tool is a very easy tool to use, right? You can open Power BI, right? So once you open Power BI, it's gonna show you this welcome screen. So we can actually directly load the data from here itself, but as a beginner, we go to the blank report, right? So this is how the Power BI tools looks like, right? So in the Power BI tool, you can see on the left side, we have some icons. On the right side, we have some icons, right? On the left side, these icons are called views, right? We have 5 views in Power BI. The first view is called the report view. So can you see this? There's this dotted line over here. This dotted line. So this is the Power BI canvas, right? This is the place where we create our dashboard inside of this dotted line, right? So this is the place we basically report view is the place where we create our dashboard, right? And also we have something called table view. So right now we don't have any table, but if you have a table, all the tables can be read. You can see your data inside of this table. I'm going to repeat that word, see your tables, because you cannot, just like in Excel, you cannot come here and edit anything in the table. Right? You can see the data in the table view, but you can create a new column, but you cannot modify the existing data. And also we have something called model view. So this is the place where we create our data model. But I told you like we have multiple tables, just like this image over here. We interconnect those tables and we create the model, right? And also we have another one called DAX query editor. Right? This is the place where we validate our DAX code and see the performance of our DAX code. So we are using this DAX query editor to do that. And there's a new view in Power BI called TMDL view. This is called Tabular Model Definition Language. So we are using this one to modify our semantic model. Semantic model means like we can modify our, as a coder, we can modify our relationships of our data, the transformation of our data. As with codings, we can do it over here. So this is good if you are into software engineering, but this is not something that you need to learn 100%. And if you have the basic understanding, that is enough on the TMDL view. So for those who like to do codings, they can use this TMDL view as well, right? So this is the left side buttons on the Power BI, right? 5 views are there. And on the right side also, we have some buttons. These are called panes, right? We have something called data pane. Right? Where if you have data, you can see all these things, right? We have something called format pane. This is the place where we format our dashboard, right? We have something called performance analyzer. We are using this performance analyzer to analyze the performance of our data, how fast our data refresh, how good our DAX codes are. We are using the performance analyzer, analyze those things. And you can use this bookmark pane. You can put bookmarks in Power BI, right? And we have something called string slicers. So string slicers is something that we use later on Power BI. String slicer help you to synchronize visuals, synchronize slicers across Power BI. Slicers means filters, right, in Power BI. And we have something called selection. So this is something that we use to keep the layer of the visuals, like what should be on the top, what should be on the bottom. To do that one, we are using the selection pane. Right? We are using all these tools when it comes to Power BI. And also on the Power BI, we have like two layouts, right? We have something called desktop layout, and also we have something called a mobile layout, right? We have to create a mobile layout as well for our dashboards, right? This is the place where we create all those layouts, right? And this is about it. And also we have another tool inside of Power BI called Power Query, right? We're gonna learn about that later on. So this is the Power Query editor. We're gonna need to upload the data to use this one. So we're gonna learn about that one as well, right? So this is basically the Power BI architecture layout interface, right? On the right side, you will see your account details, right? And all those things. And this is basically the architecture of the interface looks like, right? So we can learn all the things from the scratch in the coming sessions, right? And before I stop sharing, so I would like to take a moment to, if you have any question, I'm more than happy to answer, guys. Any question from anyone? Any question? Okay, that's great, right? So you can always contact me, guys. So I'll put my both numbers, right? So if you have any question, you can contact me through these numbers, right? So this is my Sri Lankan number, and this is my Canadian number. You can contact me
This is
through
me.
WhatsApp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Lamal.
සර් මේකෙන් පස්සේ අපි එක්සෑම් එක පේස් කරන්නේ මයිසොෆ්ට් එකේ එක්සෑම් එකද මොකද්ද?
Microsoft exam එක මේකේ අපි exam එක මේකේ course එක included කරලා නැහැ නාමල්. එනකොට අපි අර මේ ඒකේ exam එකට
training වෙන්නේ
focus
ඒකට
කරලා
සර්?
තමයි train කරලා තියෙනවා. අපි හදලා තියෙන්නේ exam එක කරවන්න තමයි ඔයාලා.
ඕකේ.
right? ඒක කියන්නේ ඒකේ exam එකේ තියෙන content එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අපි cover කරනවා.
ඕකේ සර්. thank you.
Right? Right, you guys, you have my number. I just put it on the chat, right? You can contact me from these two numbers if you want to contact me, right? Cool.
Starting date එකයි time එකයි කොහොමද?
Sorry, Prasanjit.
Starting date එකයි time එකයි?
අපි next week පටන් ගන්නවා. අපි 8ට පටන් ගන්නවා.
Monday ම?
ඔව් Monday ම තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Monday 8ට ඉඳලා සමහර දවස්වල අපි 10ට ඉවර කරනවා. සමහර දවස්වල 10:00 යනවා. ඒක කලින් ඉන්ෆෝම් කරනවා ඔයාලට. එකපාරටම කියන්නේ නැහැ. next week එකේ මේවා කරනවා කියලා කලින් ඉන්ෆෝම් කරනවා.
Date එක change කරන්න යන්න පුළුවන් වෙද්ද නැහැ නේද? කොහොමද?
දැනට තියෙන තත්ත්වෙත් එක්ක නම් ටිකක් අමාරුයිලා සජිත්. මොකද මට ඇත්තටම දැන් මේ උදේවරුව මගේ lectures එක මට අමාරු කරන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Okay. No issue.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other question from anyone? Okay. Thank you, guys. So I hope you have a productive session. Right? I hope you have learned something. And thank you for joining. And yeah, see you next week, guys.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.